Page 57 of Oil and Honor, the Texaco-Pennzoil Wars Inside the $11 billion Battle for Getty Oil by Thomas Petzinger, Jr. I have a collection of books from various times and places. Page 57, The Men. Although the information had been routinely reported in Getty Oil's annual reports for years, Gordon had overlooked it. He and his lawyer, Bill Newsom, suddenly felt as if they had reached the end of their rainbow. If those dividends had been paid in cash, they would be equivalent to $100 million. Gordon's share alone would total about $7 million. If Gordon and Newsom could convince the court that Gordon and his brothers had the same right to the stock dividends as the cash dividends received by the trust, Gordon would be able to support his family and pursue his obsession with music unfettered by the need to grovel for a decent job with Getty Oil. All of a sudden, if you became aware of your entitlement to that much money, Bill Newsom would later explain, you'd be a fool not to claim it. In 1966, Gordon filed suit against his father as trustee of the Sarah C. Getty Trust. The old man reacted as if his life's work had been threatened, which in one sense it had. Liquidating years and years of stock dividends out of the trust would diminish its control of Getty Oil by 1/3 and thus reduce the iron-fisted domination of the company that the old man maintained as sole trustee over the trust. Getty Oil's most ferocious lawyers were put on the case. For 6 years, until 1972, the messy case of Getty versus Getty was dragged through the courts of California and the newspapers of the world, and it was Gordon, not his father, on whom the humiliation was heaped. The company's lawyers called Gordon's suit naive and childish, reckless and shameful, and even an affront to the Fourth Commandment. They described him as an ungrateful, gold-digging son and repeatedly suggested that he was too inept to earn a living from his father. They said the law cited in Gordon's suit had long been thrown on the rubbish heap, and above all, they said that the lawsuits ignored the financial realities of Getty Oil. The reality being that unless the old man maintained his control, the company would die on the vine. George Getty, the company's number 2 executive, jumped in, flinging his own attacks against his brother. Because Gordon was suing over a trust matter, he technically had to name every other living beneficiary as a defendant, including his own born and unborn children, a fact that the old man's lawyers really took to town. Gordon was, and is, arrayed against every other person in the family. The old man's lawyers told the court, plaintiff would kill the goose that lays the golden egg. The lawyers said, imposing gross disadvantages on the trust, his father, his brothers, his nephews and nieces, and his own children. The lawyers demanded no relief to